Hi guys, thanks for coming back. This is December 27th to January 1st. We're actually doing a bunch of little things here. Here you see us putting a what we call a TV wall on the wall. You just saw me just lift it and slide it on it was a cleat that we put on the wall, screwed it to the actual container, and there you go. What I had to do after this, just to get the TV all connected, was to buy some small little extensions for the coax, because the stuff I used is I forget the number now, RG. It's the next level up, super thick, very good for long distance runs, because our cabling in the house is pretty long. But I had to get a 90-degree connector so that we put the cable box in the right place. Little things like that. Here you see me putting the Ethernet, screwing that down. I have two hard wires. The TV just uses one, but I have two sets of network runs to it. Every room has two, just for fun. So we're getting things connected to hardwire instead of using Wi-Fi for connectivity. Anyway, just this was pretty straightforward. This worked out really well, pretty easy to do, and the wall kind of ties in all the furniture. Next on the block. So here we're doing, this is the 31st of December. I actually don't show you guys this because I said I'd show you in other videos, making plenums for AC ducting. Pretty straightforward. With I reused some of the, I had some 2-inch duct board left over, so I made this box. This is a return box that goes in the, what we're calling the apartment, the spare room in the back of the house. And we kind of misstepped on this. I think we should have put this in early. I keep saying that over and over, but this should have been in place when we first did the AC, because the way the returns work, it's sucking a lot of the air from the hallway, from the living room area, dining room, living room, and it's not pulling anything from the back of the house. So this should have been a must, but it wasn't. Anyway, here see the main one. This is the one that's almost the big 14-inch duct you see laying on top of the box there, the plenum. That's the one going from the main return in the hallway, and then it goes directly into the air handler. Here I'm connecting the 25-foot runs of 8-inch, which hopefully will do it. I didn't want to cut 2x4s and stuff and put a 24x24 in the apartment, so I did a 12x24 in the return, and that should be plenty air movement there. It's already, I'm making this video on the 4th, and it's actually already stabilized the temperatures in the hallway and the apartment, so it's working as intended. Although it hasn't been cold or really hot, it's been just kind of mild. But anyway, the temps are the same, so that's what we're looking for. Before there was like usually a 5 to 10 degree, potentially a different thing because there's no air. So here you see me doing putting a hole in the brand new ceiling. Yay! So this was basically just trying to find it. I looked up some old pictures of the house when I framed it. Make sure I wasn't going to interfere with any wiring or anything like that. Found a few pics, so I was staying away from that. Basically, I went 3 2x4s over from the wall. They're 16 on center, so the first cut you see, that's 24 inches. And then I'm going to measure off of that and cut the 12x24 inch hole, and then make a frame on the inside of the ceiling. And 12x24 is the actual size of the insert. There's a kind of a frame section that goes around it to hide all the stuff. I guess what would you call it? Trim work. Anyway, here I'm doing putting in the 2x for the frame, and then the plenum's going to sit on top of that. You can see the spray foam sitting there. I was trying to be nice and ginger and not make a gigantic mess. So you might have seen Angie helping me with the vacuum there, getting the dust out of there. And basically, here I am going to make the frame, and then use the drill with a step bit. And basically drill holes, there you go, drilling the holes in each corner. Then I go upstairs in the attic and I mark an area 2 inches larger than where the holes are, so that the plenum will sit in there, and you'll see that in a second. So here I'm in the attic, so you see the plenum right, the camera sitting on top of it. But I almost wanted to cut this with the grinding wheel there, or the cutoff wheel, and it was just making too much spark, so I went to the Sawzall. And then of course I messed up the blade, so got unfun. I did have to make a couple of starter hits, and then use the Sawzall very shallow, so I didn't want to go down into take the foam out totally. There is a wire near the top of the hole that I missed, so yay. But anyway, everything worked out just fine. And once I pulled the steel off, I cleaned it up, and then you'll see me just drop the plenum in there and spray foam in it. So here I had to pry it. It was a little bit, I didn't cut through all the spray foam, but it was easy to do, nice and clean cut. And there's the plenum just goes right into it, and I use a heavy-duty closed-cell foam. They call it Pro System. It's good stuff. That's the orange junk I used on the plenums and everything else to seal everything up. And you might see me going crazy with this. It's like icing on a cake. I'm overdoing it because that's what I do. Everywhere there's a hole, of course I sprayed that in there, and then I actually used this closed-cell spray foam to seal up all the ducts on the plenum itself. When James designed the system, he kind of said nobody does what I did there, but I'm like, well, that's where the air leak's going to come from if there are going to be any. So I was kind of overkilling it. Now here's a frustrating version of this. So everything was going really good, and I did mention to myself that Murphy's going to kick me, and sure did. So the 14-inch duct and the 14-inch collar are really close. They're so tight. You just saw me using not a detailed view, but you saw me move some of the collar so I could actually get that stupid duct on there. It was super frustrating, and I already put duct sealer on there, so my hands were totally covered in the stuff. Very slippery, very hard to manipulate, and that, as you see the plenum moving around, it's just sitting on top of their other ducts. So not a good way to do that, I guess, but whatever. I made it work. You see a couple of wires hanging over the plenum. That's for the valves and the ducting for zone controlling. But anyway, you see me putting the last zip ties on there, so yay, I'm done on that one. So the next, this run and I cut in half. This is from the big return in the apartment. I already said that, but I'll just repeat it. I clipped out a little bit. It took me a little while to get this on there too. The duct sealers puked on there. My hands are full of junk. You saw me using the pliers and tweak the metal a tiny bit so I can get the stupid collar on. And man, oh man, was I frustrated. I didn't like that one at all. It was almost futile, but you know, you have to do it because that's the last part of the whole thing. So this goes right into the air handler, which if you right above the box I'm playing with, the air handler's right behind there. So it's direct fit in there. Just 8-inch being sucked from the spare room and 14-inch from the main hallway. And as I mentioned earlier, it actually made a big difference already in the way the AC and the temperature stayed consistent through the back of the house. So last bit of the puzzle. This was something I didn't really want to do. I knew it was going to be a fun chore. And here you see me puking up all the joints with the closed-cell foam spray. This stuff's pretty good. It hardens, expands, and everything's nice and tight after that. So good stuff. Hey guys, VDeck here, Blueberry Hill. So January 1st, yay, what do you know? I'm working up in the attic. So you saw me do the time lapse, putting the ducting together, making the plenums, putting them into place. Today I cut the hole in the container for the return. We should have done this, of course, when I did the AC the first time. We kind of knew it, like I said before. And man, I'm hot up here. But was I ever frustrated just a second ago? The 14-inch ducting and the actual 14-inch collars are super tight. So it was super frustrating. I mean, I can't say it. I was getting mad there for a sec. But, you know, you got to finish it. So I had to, you saw me pinch, I don't know if you saw the time-lapse version, but I had to pinch the collar down a tiny bit so I can get the stupid ducting on it. I don't know why that's so tight. The 8-inch ones, there was one of them that was real tight and the other one slipped on just fine. And kind of like what you expect, you know, they have that coil wire, which is supposed to expand a little bit and go onto the collar itself. But anyway, whatever, I am done. So we're gonna wait a little while, let the spray foam cure, and then in about an hour I'm gonna turn the system on and we'll see if the extra return actually helped. I do have to put the return filter bracket and all that stuff up. That's next, but minor stuff. That's just a couple of screws. It should be in 10 minutes. We're done, and then we're rocking. So anyway, this is what I should have done the first time around before we did all the spray foam and all the other junk, but it is what it is. And this should help actually pull air out of the apartment area. You know, I call it the apartment, it's a spare room. That back of the house, because that is a long run. And the return is right by my office, and that sucks from the living room area more than from the hallway. So we kind of knew going in, you know, hindsight is 50-50. or more like 100. 2020, right? Hindsight 2020. Whatever. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. I'm gonna put the filter bracket and stuff in, and we'll call it good, and then wait about an hour, and then fire the system up, and we should be golden. Later. So last but not least, here I'm putting the frame for the air filter on. Pretty easy. You just you know, a couple screws here and there. Shove the filter in place, put the door on, you're done. But anyway, appreciate you guys watching. This is the end of this video. Next coming up will be the deck. Yay.